Hi and welcome to On Rocky Ground. As many will know now, there's at least 4 people, and 4 current councillors actually, that have now publicly stated they're going to go for the mayoral position. And one of those is, I will go through them during video sessions between now and the election. The first one is Deb Hamblin, the Deputy Mayor. Now, she's put it in the paper about what she intends to do as the mayor if she was elected. And I just want to go through that with you. She stated that the COVID pandemic isn't over yet. Yep, she's right there, far from over. But what astonishes me is that she stated that she wanted to keep rates low for that reason. Now, this is a woman who voted against lowering or freezing rates during COVID. There's a thing. There's a bit of hypocrisy right there. She also stated in the paper that there's environmental concerns with the penguins at Point Perrin. They need help. Well, yes, they do. Now, Hamblin has been a councillor since something like 2007. The population of the penguins has been reducing each year, but yet nothing's been done about it. We haven't heard a whisper from Hamblin about it until, that is, there's an election coming up. A point to note, there's a bit of a rally at the weekend. A lot of people, well, 2 councillors at least turned up. That was Craig Buchanan and Lorna Buchan. They turned up their rally to support outside of Mark McGowan's office to raise a plight to the penguins. Hamblin wasn't there. Another point that she made in the paper was that she'd use her role as the mayor, if elected, to improve many other issues such as domestic violence, infrastructure growth and employment rates. Now there's a thing. So, employment rates. If anybody's seen previous videos of mine, especially the one about the economic development strategy, you realise just how poor it is. But she voted for that. There were some councillors that weren't happy with the economic development strategy. It is poor, and I have proved why and explained why in a previous video. But yet Hamblin voted for it. It was accepted. She believes it was good enough, and to me it's shocking. But I'm going to move on now to a bit more of a juicier subject, dare I say. So, look at Hamblin. If she became mayor, I could say confidently that she would not have the support of full council. And I say that because she's already formally backed Edwards, Councillor Elliot Edwards, in complaining about another councillor. How are you going to have the confidence of full council if you're going to go around dobbing on each other? How? So Hamblin thinks she can lead council and the city of Rockingham, but yet she's quite happy to dob on her fellow councillors or a fellow councillor. Another point to note is that Hamblin has consistently and perpetually voted to give ratepayer funding to the Rockingham and Kwinana Chamber of Commerce. The Rockingham and Kwinana Chamber of Commerce only represents less than 5% of business in Rockingham. So, but yet she's supported funding for the likes of a golf day, quiz night, moving offices, furniture or computer equipment. And she's also consistently supported the Rockingham Long Table Lunch. Now the Long Table Lunch is a great event. I don't think anybody could deny that. However, it doesn't need $20,000 or $25,000 of ratepayer funding every year. If you cannot simply get that event up and running and be successful in its own right, it should not be supported perpetually by the ratepayer. They had years of funding and it needs to stop, but yet Hamblin is quite content, even though on this final occasion the information was flawed. She still accepted that giving the money to the Rockingham and Kwinana Chamber of Commerce was valid, even though she knew, all councillors were well aware, that the information provided by the CEO of the Rockingham and Kwinana Chamber of Commerce was flawed, it was incorrect. But yet she still said, yep, no problem, give them the money. Hamblin harps on about rate rises this time, keeping them low. If you look over the past history, since she was elected as a councillor, there's been some significant rate rises over the years. But one point to note is that Craig Buchanan put in an alternate motion about the rate, about the business plan, and that would have kept rates on or below CPI over a 10-year period. Now, all we had to do is have a look at it and see what, you know, whether it could work or not. Hamblin voted against it. So how can she talk about keeping rates low when she voted against a rate freeze during COVID? She's voted against an alternate motion to keep rates low. It's just reeks of hypocrisy. Ironically, Hamblin, she voted against the mayor being voted by the community. She voted against that. And now she's asking the community to vote her in as mayor. So just to summarise, we've got a councillor here that's quite happy to dob on another councillor. We've got a councillor in Hamblin that has quite clearly done one thing and he's now saying another for her election to become mayor. My experience, I have 4 years of experience with Hamblin, and I wasn't impressed with her at all. We need change, we need people with enthusiasm, we need people that are prepared to represent the ratepayer and have moral courage to stand up to the CEO and challenge him, and I mean that in a polite and professional way, but it needs to happen. Hamblin, in my experience, was always aligned to the CEO and the executive, and obviously Samuels. So we do need change. I don't believe she's the right person for mayor at all. In fact, I don't think she's the right person for a councillor anymore. Yes, we need change, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. The older generation they can be bothered to vote. Now, if the older generation vote and the younger generations, or the younger areas, dare I say, Port Kennedy, Secret Harbour, Baldivis, if you don't vote, might as well give it to her, because the older generation will vote. So please vote. Make sure you go on the electoral website to make sure that your details are up to date, so you do get the postal vote through. There were people on the last election that were complaining that they didn't get the paperwork through, and that was, I believe, down to the fact that details weren't up to date and correct on the electoral website, the Electoral Commission's website, I should say. So please do that and make a change. Make a change. Rockingham can do far better. You look at Lorna Buchan, you look at Craig Buchanan, fantastic. You look at Ray Cotton, fantastic. These are people that can drive the city forward because they're not afraid to ask the hard, the tough questions. They're not afraid to do so. They're not afraid to dig into the information and demand answers. And that's what we should be doing. Not sitting there just agreeing. So yes, please think before you vote. We don't need another 4 years of the same, that's for sure. Thanks for listening. Take care.